All right. For all of you who were worried, stressed, or burdened, and had a bad week last week, the Intellectual Idiot Show is back, and it's better than ever.
And the reason we were out is because Max was out chopping his locks.
I did get a haircut. This is breaking groin. For anybody who is not watching on the YouTube, we encourage you to watch on the YouTube. I've been getting a lot of heat for the cut, to be honest.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you look just like Aaron Rodgers. It looks like you're copied his style.
It's super long on the top, and then
it is not like Aaron Rodgers.
Oh.
Okay, well, regardless, we'll get into my haircut, but it needed to be done. I got the new Series Ultra watch here from Apple, which I'm also pretty hyped about. So kudos to me. I waste my money buying all the newest and best Apple products for no reason. Tyler looks and feels like garbage, and Michael looks like shit as usual.
Yeah,
so
had a bachelor party this weekend, so out in California, feeling pretty
I think good. I want to put a timeout to all of this. Michael, let's just give a round of applause for Tyler and his birthday. Tyler is now 25. So Tyler, happy birthday from the Intellectual Idiots. Hey, Ty, we're happy to be back, and everything is great. So let's dive into it. We got a lot to talk about. The Packers are a really, really, really bad football team.
They're a bottom. I'd say they're a bottom 10 team for sure. Are they in the bottom 7?
I mean, they just got stomped by the Jets.
The New York Football Jets.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson had like 100 yards passing.
Yeah, I saw a stat like the Jets had a blocked. They got a punt blocked. Zach Wilson threw for like 100 yards. They turned the ball over.
Breece Hall beat us.
They literally were terrible, and they beat us by 17.
Yeah,
that is
running game. We couldn't stop their running game. Breece Hall and Michael Carter were ripping us.
We have why I'm really concerned about this season and where to go from here is the Packers I feel like they have a heart problem. They have a identity problem and they have an effort problem. It was so clear. It was so blatantly obvious what team wanted it more on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the Jets came out and punched us in the mouth and kept just beating the shit out of us. They just beat us down. It was like a will thing. It was just heart. The Packers have no heart. They don't know who they are. They're not trying. Aaron Rodgers looks like shit. Our wide receivers look like shit. Our offensive line looks like shit. Aaron Rodgers statistically is out to his worst start since 2016. Every single statistic proves it. He is off to his worst start as a quarterback. And yeah, all the Packers fans are going to come to his aid, and because Rodgers can do no wrong because he's won back-to-back MVPs, but he looks horrible.
Yeah.
He is throwing the ball. He is missing wide-open receivers. You don't think so?
No, I agree. I was just saying.
Michael's shaking his head. He doesn't think so.
You can make a really good case for the attitude problem with Aaron Rodgers, but I'm looking at the minimal amount of time he has in the pocket and just Lazard's our number one wide receiver, yes, but he's not even in the top tier wide receiver core in the NFL. I do have to back.
Yeah, wide receiver 3 on any other team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Watkins always injured. Randall Cobb out. Yeah, you have AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones, but you got to have more than a team of just 2 good running backs to be successful. Our offensive line not looking too great, I gotta say. So
yeah.
I
would agree with you.
Romeo Dobbs has been okay. Watson's been hurt. We need to get him going. I actually did see an article this morning. Breaking groin. Packers are trying to make a move for Mr. Chase Claypool.
I called that.
It's perfect. I mean, the Steelers don't need him. He's kind of disgruntled over there. They have, Pickens, they got Fryermuth, they got, Deontay. They've got a bunch of guys. They don't need Claypool. We need Claypool. He would be an absolute beast for Rodgers. 6'4", big ass guy, fast, pretty good route runner. Great with contested catches. I think that would be an absolute killer move by the Packers. And I think we need to make a move no matter what happens, whether it's Odell, whether it's bringing back Jerry Rice, whether it's bringing back Calvin Johnson. Yeah.
Rumors, Max.
Yeah, I
We just
do
signed
agree.
Jerry Rice.
He's still got a couple good years in his legs, I think.
I think he could do pretty good.
I will say, Michael, like I think I don't like I don't think Rodgers has played well, but I do back you up. I think that I agree with what you're saying, but I also don't think Aaron Rodgers has played well either. There are a lot of stats that are showing that he's missing a lot of receivers. There are receivers open. You're telling me that there aren't any receivers open anytime he drops back? Because there have been replays that they've showed that there are receivers open. And I don't know. I think that Aaron Rodgers needs to play better for us to be better. He needs to raise his game up to a higher level. I don't know how you have to do that, but we're paying you fucking $50 million a year to figure it out. So you got to play better. We can't have you go out there and putting up as good as a passer rating as Marcus Mariota. It can't happen. I don't care what kind of time you have.
Pretty well.
Yeah, Mariota had a pretty good week.
It was like 13, 14 last week. He got the win. Marcus Mariota is looking, for what we expected of Marcus Mariota, he has far exceeded the expectations of what he was supposed to be. So in a way, you could say Marcus Mariota has been better this year.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with you, but you guys are all right. Everything you said, I hit it on the head. Our offensive line is a fucking disaster. I just don't know, like some of these things. It's like Matt LaFleur is coaching this team like we still have Devontae Adams. Like he's not adjusting. Like he's calling the same offense that we were calling last year. He's not changing anything up. We're not doing anything different. We're not showing any sort of variances in our offense. It's like we did that sweep play a couple times, and that's about it. Yeah, Mike.
What LaFleur brought to the Packers organization was the West Coast offense. So taking a look at the Packers over the last, his fourth season now, over the last 3 years, a lot of the play calling is a lot more conservative than just relying on a deep ball that Rodgers chucks in the air, which I'm a huge fan of, having safer, more conservative plays, especially with all the new kind of wide receivers that we have on our team. How would you say he needs to adjust more? Because he is keeping the same offense that he's had in years past, but a stud wide receiver gone. Like, what do you actually adjust then?
We need to adjust it to become more simple. We don't have the guys to be able to do these crazy routes and to run the offense that we've run the last few years with having the receivers that we had in the past few years with Devontae Adams, much better core. We need to make it more simple. And, we have so many guys with no experience, and we got old man Cobb,
Dead.
We need to simplify things.
Having a receiver like Devontae Adams makes every single receiver look better because he's drawing triple coverage over the middle of the field, while then you have Allen Lazard wide open down the right side. It's like, yeah, I agree in a sense of it's hard to change an entire offense, but I don't think you have to change the entire offense. I just think we need to adjust better because we scored fucking 10 points in 6 quarters of football.
How many
you
points
have to adjust?
The New York Football Jets.
We scored 10.
Jesus.
And we didn't score in the second half of the Giants game.
Our offense, New York Football Giants and the New York Football Jets.
Offensively, we didn't in the second half of that game. But that first half of the Giants game, we looked great on offense. We were moving the ball up and down the field. We were using the run game. We were using the pass game. We were mixing it up perfectly. We were confusing them. And then in the second half, everything just stopped. And then the Jets just pounded us to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so embarrassing. I can't remember a Packers game that I've watched where I've been more embarrassed and frustrated watching a game. That was horrible. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. And the other thing is, isn't our defense supposed to be good? Because we're trash. We're so bad.
You can't stop shit.
I don't know if it's Joe Barry
I
or
mean, we had so many guys injured last year, and our defense was significantly better. Like, what's going on?
I have a very hard time believing we pretty much have the same exact team as last year, minus Devontae Adams. I'm very confused as to why we've regressed so much as a team. Is it an attitude that we have?
Yeah.
Is it like we're the Packers and we're so good that like we're like I don't know. It's like our team. You're telling me Devontae Adams made our team like scoring no points in 6 quarters that much better? Because like I know he did. He made us better, but I mean, come on, this is pathetic. There's no way.
Yeah, well,
I'm done. I'm done. Sorry, Mike.
Okay. No, I don't really have anything else to touch on the Packers game this past week, but Ty, I don't know if you have any
Steelers.
comments. Otherwise, I wanted to talk about your Steelers, baby.
Steelers going out and beating Brady. Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but they got the win against Brady. Like what?
You want to talk about a team that has problems too? The Buccaneers and the Packers, I feel like, are a very similar unit right now.
Yes.
They both are living in this fantasy land that they're better than they are, and both teams are trash.
Their quarterbacks both hate their families. They have a decent run game, and I couldn't tell you. They're both in the NFC. I don't know.
Both are wildly underperforming. I can tell you that. Nice win for the Steelers, but
yeah,
like,
I mean,
the Steelers are
go out and beat the Buccaneers. Like they're a top 5 team, arguably. I mean, they haven't been performing that way, but in terms of talent, you know, they'll probably make it to the NFC Championship realistically.
Yeah,
great right now.
What is the latest situation regarding quarterbacks over there?
Yeah, so Pickett got hurt, got a concussion in the game. I saw a report this morning that if Pickett's ready to go, he's still their QB1, so he's going to be starting no matter what. If he's playing.
Okay.
But, you know, Pickett, you know, he's looks solid. He's, you know, working out the rookie kinks, but I really like him, and our offense just looks like it has more life with him at the helm. We need to get Najee Harris going. He's looked pretty damn average this year. Our line is horrendous. We need to make some moves at the trade deadline to get some offensive linemen because it is horrendous. It's like disgusting. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Steelers right now. They're very average. They're very average, probably below average.
It's kind of a funny year in the NFL, isn't it? Like, bad teams are performing really well and like playing a lot better. Like the Giants, the Jets, the Eagles. I don't think anybody thought the Eagles were going to start off being 5-0.
Powerhouse number 1 team in the league, not even close right now.
The Eagles. I mean, and then you have teams that you thought were going to be so good that are wildly underperforming, like the Broncos and the Packers and the Buccaneers and the Colts. Like
Broncos got to be at the biggest disappointment right now.
Yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson had 15 yards in the second half. 15 yards of passing and overtime.
No way.
15 yards.
I don't believe that.
Look it up.
He had a good first half. He literally earned the Broncos' first touchdown of the game.
Yeah, well, I think they're probably near the top of biggest disappointments in terms of expectations for the year. Coming in, they were, you know, Super Bowl potential contenders, and now they just look brutal.
Do you want to know my the best play of the Eagles-Cowboys game? So the Eagles beat the Cowboys 26-17. The best play of the game comes from Chris Collinsworth. I'm not sure if you guys heard this, but
I was on my Spirit flight, so I didn't get to watch.
Oh, so I guess the Eagles have a running back named Landon Dickerson. So it was just a run play, and you know he fought hard to get some yards. And this is the audio that Chris Collinsworth said.
Hey, how about if you get a little taste of Landon Dickerson coming right down your throat?
How about you get a little taste of Landon Dickerson coming right down your throat? I love that.
Oh my God, Chris. Easy there, Mr. Collinsworth.
Guys, Russell Wilson is getting paid $245 million, and the Broncos gave up their first and their second round draft picks, 2 years of each.
And the
2
Seattle
first rounds and 2 second rounds for a 2-5 start, and Russell Wilson to look like absolute garbage.
Yeah. Another funny thing about that is the pick that Seattle's got from the Broncos is going to be a top 5 pick. It's looking like it's going to be a top 5 pick.
And Tyler, you nailed this on the head too. Geno Smith is good.
Yes.
He's not bad. Geno Smith is not that bad.
Geno's
He
cooking.
is. It's now 6 weeks. It's hard to say it's a fluke at this point. Like,
He
we're 6 weeks into the
legitimately
year, and
good.
he still looks twice the quarterback that Russell Wilson is.
Plus, they got that new running back, Kenneth Walker from Michigan State. He looks like an absolute baller.
I
Like-
think Nathaniel Hackett has a lot to do with why the Broncos are so bad, though. Like, I think he doesn't know how to call plays. I think a lot of offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators don't pan out as head coaches. It's proven year in and year out. Like, just because, and it should always raise a red flag when you're looking to hire a head coach if he's the offensive coordinator and doesn't call the plays. Like, LaFleur called the plays in Green Bay.
That is strange.
Shouldn't that raise some red flags? Like, oh, he's the Packers offensive coordinator, like, but he doesn't call the plays. So what does he do?
He coordinates the offense.
He is a coordinator.
And Rodgers didn't even work with him. Rodgers just works with the quarterbacks coach. It's like like hearing some of the things that he says, he's so corny too. It's like, ew. Ugh.
Wait,
Another thing that I thought was pretty funny, or that I just wanted to bring up. Bailey Zappi for the Patriots. Is he the new guy? I mean, he's putting Mac Jones on alert right now. Like, he goes out there, scores 38 against the Browns. Like, he wins last week. He wins this week. Mac Jones has looked horrendous. Like, is Bailey Zappi coming for the Matt Castle to Tom Brady's job?
Go ahead, Mikey.
Oh, the only comment I had is that I think you got to start him just because of his last name.
Zappi?
I think you got to start him because you're winning. And the thing about it too that is so crazy, Bill Belichick, just when you think the Patriots are done and like he's over the hill, it's like, dude, the Patriots have such an average team, and like they just find a way to win. And it's insane to me. They're going out there and they're running Belichick's system and they're winning with a third string quarterback. They should have won 3 years in a row. They should have beat the Packers. They should have. Mm-hmm. The Packers truly should be 1-5 right now, if we're being honest. They should be 1-5. They should have lost to the Buccaneers. They should have lost to the Colts. And I'm pretty sure what other game did the Packers win?
The Bears.
I mean, yeah, they beat the Bears, but they should be 1-5. But whatever.
But they're not.
Bill Belichick is pretty unbelievable. I mean, how he's got the Patriots playing. I mean, the Patriots they've won 2 in a row now, and I think they're 3-3 or 4-2 or something. They're a legitimate threat in the AFC right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Craziness. Crazy. The AFC is pretty damn competitive though. That Chiefs Bills game was crazy.
I didn't get to watch that one really.
Tony Romo predicted the score correctly. He said it's gonna be about 24-20.
And then it ended up being 24-20. That's funny.
How about the Panthers and them firing Matt Rule, their head coach, and then the next game, the interim head coach goes out, kicks out Robbie Anderson. He kicked Robbie Anderson out of the game, and then they traded him right after the game to the Cardinals for a 7th round pick, a last round pick.
Cool. I had no idea that happened, but
I don't think Robbie Anderson's even that good. So I don't know.
Like, he's a very solid receiver. He'd be our WR1, no doubt, on the Packers. Not even close. But
I hope the Packers
then. The Panthers are an absolute disaster.
Dude, I really honestly, I gotta be honest with you guys. I did not see Baker being this bad in this league. He had such a good first year with the Browns, dude. He
sucks.
He was 13-3.
He's terrible.
I know he's bad now. That's very evident. But I'm saying, like, his first year with the Browns, they were 13-3, dude, weren't they?
Yeah, and then last year, I think it's a valid excuse of that the Browns were playing him when he was just plagued with injuries and probably shouldn't have been playing. But I don't know. Does he have any? Is he nicked up at all this year? Because yeah, he's not a.
He's terrible.
And I just don't like him in the Panthers uniform. He was so aptly fit in a Browns uniform. The Panthers uniform just looks so foreign to me. So
yeah, now they got good old Deshaun.
Just had another sexual assault case. His 26 come out against him.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
Talk about a depressing situation. Like, the man got the highest contract in NFL history, and the Browns took him on knowing that he had 25 sexual assaults against him. Talk about an absolute disgusting organization.
Yeah, it's pretty
Completely
horrible because
putting morals aside. No, we want him because he's potentially really good, but he's a horrible person. Like,
he's
Jesus.
still like one of the top paid quarterbacks in the NFL, and he hasn't played like for the last close to.
I mean, 26 sexual assaults. Like, it's insane to me that he's allowed to play.
I mean, I think the reasoning why he can still play is none of them have come into any like substantial, like, I'm not defending him. Don't get me wrong. I hate his guts, but I don't think the like technicality is the reason why he can still play is because none of them have come into anything like substantial. You know what I mean? They've all been claims. Nothing's been proven. So it's like, that's why he's still, you know what I mean? I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but nothing's been cemented or proven for him. It's just been claims that have just like been claim after claim after claim. I'm sure he did something horrible, but like that's why he's still like
26
allowed in the league.
That's a serial repeater right there.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So just so we're clear, Max Hoffman is pro free Deshaun Watson. All right, just want to that's on the record.
That is not. That's not on the record.
Canceled.
I am not in support of Deshaun Watson.
Canceled.
No. Before that gets out, I am not in support of Deshaun Watson. I am anti-Deshaun Watson. I hate his guts, but I am the reasoning why he's not like kicked out of the league is because of that.
You're innocent until guilty in the good old US of A, I think is what you're getting at. Due process is that. So
yeah, don't crucify me by citing the words of the Constitution.
Oh, I will. Did you guys cover anything else in the
NFL? I got one more thing that I wanted to cover as probably
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Speaking of the Broncos, we're talking about another massive disappointment for the year, the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, they're
Kyler Murray looked terrible. Cliff Kingsbury, hot take.
I called that.
Coach. Cliff Kingsbury is a terrible coach, I think.
You know,
of course he is.
Back? You know who comes back this Thursday? It's Big Bad D Hopkins, baby.
Well,
Mr. PEDs.
Because they just lost Hollywood Brown for the year.
Oh shit! Really? Ooh.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are a train wreck, and I've been saying that. That was a take that I got right. I said that the Cardinals are terrible, and they are bad.
They shouldn't even have 2 wins. One of their wins. I watched the whole game. They won in like a overtime pick 6 that was in the red zone, and like they should not have won. So they realistically should have 1 win.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Let's ride.
That's really fun to say. If you say it over and over,
Broncos country, let's ride. Come on, guys.
No, Tyler. He says it.
Russell, sir. What define riding? We're not riding right now. We're losing.
Tyler, you got to say it more like when he goes like Mr. Unlimited. It's like Broncos country, let's ride.
Broncos country, let's ride.
No, you're stopping ride too quick. It's Broncos country, let's ride.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Okay. Well, anyway, hey guys, the Brewers look bad. Josh Hader is striking out the best team in the NL and closing every game that he comes into. He hasn't allowed a run in like 20-something innings.
Yeah.
He is the most He's the most lockdown closer in baseball yet again. He made all the Dodgers look foolish as the Padres just have beaten back-to-back 100-win teams
the Padres
to go to the NLCS.
Oh, the Padres are at the next round?
The Padres beat the Mets, and then they beat the Dodgers in back-to-back rounds. Two World Series favorites.
Jesus
They
Christ.
knocked them both out handily. They beat the Dodgers 3-1, and they beat the Mets 2-1.
Hater's good reason for that.
Hater closed out. They've won between the two series. They won four. They won 3 games against the Dodgers, and they won 2 against the Mets. And Hater closed out every single one of those games. And I think 4 of the 5 were save situations. So like between under three runs or less, they're winning by going into the 9th inning. And one of the game, Hater pitched multiple innings. So he has been unbelievable. Trent Grisham,
Yes,
is batting like 400 with like 5 home runs in the playoffs.
Glad we got rid of him too.
Yeah, so that's great.
Fucking disaster.
The Brewers are such a train wreck.
So if we're taking a look at the AL playoff picture, the first game is the Phillies and the Padres starts Tuesday. So by the time this pod gets out, game 1 will be in the books. I thought I also point out on the Phillies, you know who else for Bad News Brewers and someone who's playing really well in the Phillies?
Gene Segura.
Gene Segura. Oh, he's also batting
well?
300 something in the postseason. So
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. It's funny. That's what you say when you the wild card teams are the hot teams. That's how it goes, right? The Padres and the Phillies. And the Guardians. The Guardians too. The Guardians are playing in Game 6 against the Yankees tonight to advance to the ALCS. So we got the Astros are doing Astros things. They knocked out the Mariners in 3 games. But outside of that, oh hi puppy, there's a puppy. How you doing? How you doing? Hi buddy.
I got an interesting fact.
Yeah,
An interesting take. So I'm really hoping that the Phillies don't win the World Series because I saw this thing. I read an article that every time the Phillies have won a World Series, there's been an economic depression or recession.
no way.
1929, 1930, 1980, and 2008, the housing crash of 2008. They've all won the World Series then.
Dude,
it's not looking great for the economy right now. And if the Phillies win, we're going into a full-blown recession.
That's so ridiculous.
The only reason I want the Phillies to advance is maybe there is going to be like some breaking news during the World Series where like the stock market drops 10,000 points. And while they're breaking that news, Nick Castellanos hits a line drive out to left field. That's going to make it a 4-1 ball game for the Phillies.
I see myself as a man of faith, and Castellanos hits one to left field, and that's going to be out of here. No, it's crazy. I really think the Padres are going to win it, though. I mean, they are clicking on all cylinders. They just rolled over arguably 2 of the best teams in baseball. Now they got the Phillies. That's going to be a scrappy series. Oh my God, is that going to be fun to watch? A best of 7 against the Phillies and Padres. That'll be fun to watch. But again, just, we're not going to sit here and talk about the Brewers for an hour now, but just really speaks to the disappointment that they are as a team. I think Stearns really outsmarted himself this year. I think we just wildly underperformed, and it's very like postseason baseball is my favorite thing in the world, and it's been a crazy exciting postseason. It's been nuts. It's been so loud at those stadiums, dude. It's been crazy. But again, like, it's just the Brewers should be there. They really should. This was their year. They were primed and ready to go, and they had the tools. But trade away your best closer in baseball, for a couple shitty prospects, and next thing you know, you're get a couple guys hurt like Freddie Peralta and Lauer and Adames and Renfroe, and your whole season goes to shit. So really tough look, and hopefully that they do some looking in the mirror this offseason and make a couple of additions and help the team out a little bit, because my God, are they pathetic. All right, so are we closing it down today with top surprises of the NFL season? I think. Yeah, no, maybe so.
Yeah, we could just go through some surprises that I didn't come up necessarily with a list. I didn't know we were doing a list, but I got
No, just in
talk about
general,
some
it's just tough.
surprises.
I got one.
I had something funny
Sure.
to me. So I've been known with my friend group from like my high school to like majorly curse fantasy players or jinx fantasy players. Last year, I called Antonio Gibson a fumbler, and he ended up having the most fumbles like he's ever had in a season. This year, like I jinxed Austin Eckler. He was having a really rough start to the year. He had 9.2, 13.9, and 9 points. And I said, oh, wow, Eckler's really having a bad year.
Uh-oh.
Since I said that, he's gotten 32, 34, and 20. So the best running back since I jinxed him.
They've really been utilizing him in the passing game more too, which helps.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's an absolute beast receiver. Like, he's so good. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. I just got a text about that. My friends saying Eckler hasn't done anything after week 3, and then since then he's now RB1.
Gotta love fantasy.
Yeah.
I have one. I know we briefly touched on it before. I'll just play this. It's like a 3-second clip.
All hail the New York Giants!
Yeah, they're the biggest surprise. 5-1. It's Brian Dable's team. Brian Dable's getting them the wins.
Danny Dimes, baby. I don't know.
They're not talented.
Mike Daniels hasn't been really doing anything crazy. He's just
Mike Daniels?
Or who's there? Daniel Jones. Jesus Christ. Sorry about that. Daniel Jones hasn't like been doing anything crazy. I mean, yeah, he's a nice mobile quarterback. I mean, he's just kind of being a serviceable
guy.
He's a guy?
He's just a guy.
He's just a guy. Okay, I agree. But what is making like the Giants speed 5-1 this year?
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
Barkley's been an absolute baller. They're finally utilizing him the way he should have.
He's the number 1 running back in the league.
They're using him like they were using him his first year in the league, and it's working.
Talk about a guy who BBF'd. He bounced
back. He did. He bounced back like nobody's business. I'm going to go with my biggest surprise of the year. It's the Broncos, hands down. They're my biggest surprise in a different way. I really thought that the Broncos were such a cut and dry, like just a cut in place with, losing Drew Lock and putting in Russell Wilson, that they were just going to be an instant Super Bowl contender. I was wrong. I mean, wow, they're so bad. I mean, I think Nathaniel Hackett has wrecked their offense, and he's really wrecked their team. You very rarely do you see like a coach that's hired come in and truly just blow up what was there. I don't think the Broncos needed that much fixing. I think they needed to put Russell Wilson in the position to succeed. I think what Nathaniel Hackett did is came in there and blew everything up and now it's just a disaster. And the locker room's divided. The Broncos weren't that far away from competing. They really weren't. Everybody was saying they're a quarterback away. And like, their defense was always good. Their defense has been good. They're just a fucking disaster. They give up 10 points a game and now they score 8 or 7. They're so bad. And it's just crazy. That was my biggest surprise. I didn't see this coming. I really didn't. I didn't see the Broncos struggling as bad as they are coming.
I got two things that I wanted to mention. First off, I've watched a lot of the LA Rams this year. And to go from
bad
Super Bowl to like looking so mediocre and relying completely on Cooper Kupp, their team is in disarray right now. They're trying to get rid of Cam Akers, who was a very high pick for them. He's a very good player, but he's just apparently like not wanting to practice. He's been a bad teammate, so they're literally trying to trade him. Kupp has obviously looked great. Stafford's looked horrible. They only rely on Kupp for their offense. It just doesn't work right now. So I think it's a big surprise seeing how bad they are coming off a dominant Super Bowl win.
Good point, Tyler. I put the Rams, Buccaneers, and the Packers all in that same group. Super Bowl contenders that are broken.
Yep.
That just are lost. No identity. No
Agreed.
identity at all.
And then my other one that I wanted to talk about we touched a little bit on it, but it's crazy to me how the Jets are 4-2. Like
Robert Saleh too.
Robert Saleh just looks like an absolute genius out there. He looks so just energetic and pumped all the time. The players seem like they love him. I mean, Zach Wilson isn't even doing that great, and they somehow have 4 wins. I really, truly think a lot of it is related to their defense. Sauce Gardner has been unbelievable. He's looked like
Quinnen Williams is unbelievably good. Best D lineman in football.
Sauce Gardner looks like a top 5 cornerback already. And then you got Breece Hall, who is putting a case in for the Rookie of the Year. Like, he has looked unbelievable. I mean, Garrett Wilson has shown flashes. They got freaking Elijah Moore as well. And what's that other guy's name? I can't remember the other receiver's name, but they look like they could have a potential really good offense as long as Zach Wilson starts to show up. They could be. I mean, I think they're going to be a playoff team, but maybe they can make some noise in the playoffs.
I don't think that I don't think that in that AFC, I don't think they're going to play a playoff team yet. I think that they're close, but I would disagree with you there. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I think that the Jets are not yet a playoff team yet, but I think that they're really good. And I think they could be good for a long time. And I think the key is what you said, Tyler. If Zach Wilson starts, because right now it's not sustainable with Zach Wilson playing like this. Like he's just clearly not very good. And he needs to really start turning it up for them to take it to that next level. They'll be a true like Super Bowl contender if he can play like, Justin Herbert someday or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they need him in a bad way. Because right now I think they got it wrong at quarterback from what I'm seeing.
Was Zach Wilson?
Yeah. I just don't think he's very good. The last 2 years he's been terrible.
Yeah, just watching the throws he makes and the decision, like a lot of throws he makes are just absolute ducks, and a lot of decisions he makes are just so questionable. Like, what do you do?
He just strikes me like as a low football IQ. Like he just doesn't seem like really smart out
he
there.
just seems like a questionably morally wrong person with all the outside of football things that you hear.
Yeah, true. I think a lot of them do it. He just gets put on blast.
Yeah.
I think the last I don't even know if surprise is the right word, but like one thing to keep tabs on. The Vikings are 5-1 right now.
They've played such garbage, dude. They've played so bad teams.
They've been getting lucky.
They're still first in the NFC North. Captain Kirk Cousins is doing his services. Like he hasn't had too many Kirk Cousins moments where he's absolutely collapsing in key points of the game. He's doing his job. I mean, it really helps when you have Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook, obviously. But yeah, I'm just kind of surprised.
That's a fair point.
5-1. I'm still very skeptical of them, but just something to kind of keep notes in the next couple weeks.
They've played one good team this year, which was the Eagles, and they lost 24-7. They barely squeaked a win out of the Lions. They barely squeaked by a game-winning field goal against the Saints. They beat the Bears by 1 touchdown, and they beat the Dolphins by a touchdown with their third-string quarterback. So I think that the Vikings' schedule gets a little bit tougher. They got the Cardinals coming up, which is not that hard, and the Commanders, which is not that hard. They could easily go 7-1. And then they have the Bills, Cowboys, Patriots, Jets. So they're going to have some work to do in that stretch. But I think that they truly are probably going to win the division in the NFC North.
Mm-hmm.
My last surprise that I'm going to say before we close this thing down is the Ravens. They're also another team to me that is wildly underperforming. I think that it might be time for them to part ways with John Harbaugh. I really think it's about that time.
If you've really watched their games, they've had a few unlucky breaks that have caused them to lose.
Dude, they've blown multiple touchdown leads weeks in a row.
They have blown leads.
They were up by like 3 touchdowns against the Dolphins. And then they let Tua throw for 500 yards. Get out of here. And then freaking they lose this last week to the Giants. Oh, my God. I think that they need some help. I think the Ravens are in a little bit of like they think that they're better than they actually are fantasy land too. I think they're right there with they're 3-3. Just like the Packers, Buccaneers, and the good old Rammers. I think that they should be considering all options too. But Tyler just has a hard on for Lamar Jackson, so he refuses to talk anything bad about the Ravens at all.
No, their defense is horrendous.
Yeah.
But I love Lamar.
Anyway, boys, I think that was a great episode. We covered a lot of stuff. Very passionate. Very passionate episode. Let's hope our pack turn it around here, boys, eh?
Oh, we'll do it. We'll get it done. We're gonna get Chase Claypool and things are gonna be great.
So where's the panic meter now? And then where would be the panic meter if we lost the Commanders?
Panic meter before Jets game here. Panic after Jets game here. Panic after Commanders loss. Up there.
Okay. That was a good visual one. Right now, I think the panic meter, I have stored it into the attic a couple of years ago. And now I'm not going in the attic to get the panic meter. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, I remember where I left it last time. And this is where I need to go in the attic if I ever have to grab it. So that's where I'm at.
I'm in a very similar spot. I feel like how we react and how we respond to this, like, I don't think Matthew LaFleur has ever had to really face any like adversity in a regular season before. So I think like how I'd rather struggle. We always breeze through the regular season and then just suck in the playoffs. So maybe this is good. Maybe a little adversity earlier in the season is going to wake us up.
We're playing against the backup quarterback for the Commanders, so we better fucking win.
It's not just any backup quarterback though.
Taylor Goat.
It's Heineke. Taylor Goat Heineke. The guy who almost beat Tom Brady in their Super Bowl, in the Bucs Super Bowl run. All right, guys.
Boys, I got to roll.
Let's close it down. But good episode today. You know what they say. You'll do it out there. So, Tyler, thanks for trooping through your cold. And how about you close us down today?
All righty, boys. It's been a good one. Let's get her moving. Great episode. Pod out.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.